My capsicum plants don't have, well, there's a couple of little tiny flowers on them. I've just harvested the capsicums off of them. So the chilies on the chili plants are still green. I know the ones in the other garden bed are starting to redden up, so they're not far off. So in here, these are the last of the plants that are actually in here, which is the chili plants, the capsicum. But these capsicum plants will very soon be ready to come out of here and go up into the greenhouse for the winter. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, and today it is finally time to get the capsicum and the chili plants out of the ground and up into the greenhouse. The reason I'm doing this is so that I can overwinter them in the greenhouse, and that the cold winter days and all the extra rain that we get here in Western Australia does not kill my chili and capsicum plant over the winter. Now, the capsicum and chili plants can be really quite difficult to get them to sprout. And now that I've gotten some to sprout and actually growing, I want to keep them growing for as long as I can. So I'm hoping to get 2 or 3 years out of these plants. We are just going to have to see how they go. So I'm going to just slowly take you through the steps on what I did, which was really basic, to get these up into the greenhouse. Please keep in mind, when I did this, my hand had been operated on 3 weeks prior to doing this, so the whole process was really slow and one-handed. I hope you guys enjoy. So basically the first part of this was I trimmed the bottom of the plants so that I had a good enough stem to be able to plant them as deep as I needed into the pots, to make sure that they were kept stable. And then it's just a matter of going around the plant itself and digging the plant out. Now, capsicum and chilies have quite small root balls, as you'll see as I pick it out of the ground here. So it wasn't too hard to actually get them out of the ground. With the process of this, I basically got them out, put them in the bucket. I half filled the bucket with the dirt that they were in, and then I topped it up with some compost, and as you will see, I'll have also put in a scoop of dynamic lifter, and that is just to make sure that the plants get a really good start with some fertilizer in the pots with them as well. And the compost I used is just a compost that I bought in that I needed. So while topping up with the compost, I made sure that the compost went right to the top of the pot, because I knew when I started watering it in that it would compact down and I would lose some of that soil. So to make sure that the pot was really full and nice and compact at the end, I made sure that the pots were full to the top. You'll also notice here that my compost has gotten really quite dry. That is not an uncommon thing to happen here in WA, because we get really hot summers, and with the fact that I wasn't able to get out and do much in the garden with my hand, everything was sort of just got cooked and baked in the sun. So, but to remedy that, guys, I basically filled these pots with water, and I ended up leaving the pots sitting in my cart overnight with water in the base of the cart, and gave these pots a really good soaking, because the water became really quite hydrophobic, And to fix that problem, it is just a matter of making sure that there is enough water, that all the soil has to suck all this water up. And so I just left it there overnight, and by the next morning it was all beautifully watered through. Well, it's time again this year to get the greenhouse back into a greenhouse for the winter months. And not too soon, it's just started raining out here today, so I'm going to go in there and do that job. So now that I've gotten the greenhouse tidied up and to a usable state, I really did let it get away from me. But this kind of things happens to the best of us, especially when we have an injury and are unable to get out into the garden. But now that it's all sorted, I'm getting these capsicums and chili plants in here. And guys, when you're watering these, they only need to be done about once a week. Twice a week at the absolute most. If you're giving them a really, really good soaking to where the water is running out of the bottom of your pot, then they only need to be done once a week, especially over the winter months, as the sun will not dry them out as much. I mean, my greenhouse got up to 30 odd degrees on a couple of the sunnier days. But if you overwater them, you guys are going to end up having a lot of problems with the moisture in the greenhouse, causing all sorts of different bacteria and stuff growing on the capsicums. So guys, I'm going to put some video footage here on how these guys are getting on in the greenhouse at the moment. And I can tell you what, right now I am picking off chilies and capsicums and just using these. So good. They are so yummy, so sweet. Everybody is loving them going into the gardens. And guys, if you want to see what I'm using these capsicums for and what recipes they are in, you're going to have to head on over to Cooking with Mumma Bear so that you can see that. I will put a link in the description for that one. And guys, don't forget the other channel, Preserving with Mumma Bear, and the link will be down the bottom there. And I will also link a video for you guys to check out for each of them as well. And thank you for joining me here again in the garden, and I hope that this has shown you that just because it's the end of the season, it doesn't mean you have to pull out your chilies and capsicums and turf them on the compost pile. You can put them in a pot, put them in the greenhouse, and they will continue to produce and give you more beautiful food as the days goes. See you next time, guys. I trimmed it back and I wasn't sure how well it was going to do because I left this one untrimmed. Just in case. Yeah, but it's definitely doing better untrimmed because this was a smaller one.
They look like they're a couple of different varieties, though.
No, they're all the same.
Are they?
Yeah. It's just the way that the plants are growing. I need to water in here actually.